The Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu, highly welcome, sir. Please, we will remain standing as we play the national anthem. Please take our seats.
On the activities of the Ministry of Police Affairs, and to thank you most sincerely for finding time to be with us today. This occasion is a kind of three-in-one occasion, because today, Friday, 21st August 2020, we are celebrating the establishment of the Federal Executive Council of this administration, which was inaugurated on 21st August 2019. We are also celebrating the one-year anniversary of the re-establishment of the Ministry of Police Affairs, which is also 1 year old today. And most importantly, you are joining me in celebrating my 1 year anniversary, as I was sworn in and appointed as the Minister of Police Affairs 1 year ago today. So I urge all of us to join us in celebrating this very historic day, and to also join us in a praise for the guidance of the Federal Executive Council, the well-being of the Ministry of Police Affairs, and the guidance and protection of my humble self, my management team, the heads of the agencies, let us say the Inspector General of Police, the Commandant, the ES of the PTF, and all our supporting staff for witnessing this very important day. In occasions of this nature, one is always expected to give account of what we have been able to achieve within the period under review, and to also try to highlight some of the challenges that we have faced. I must thank the Inspector General of Police, my Permanent Secretary, and all those who have supported us in one or other towards this journey in the attainment of what we have been able to achieve so far. 1 year is so short a time for one to give full account of what he has been able to do. But we thank God, with the commitment of the IG and our teaming staff, we have been able to show something. A lot of things that we have not even been able to account for in this presentation. I thank you most sincerely for your support, for your cooperation, and for your understanding to ensure that we have gone this far. As is always the case, you will recall that in our effort to strengthen the internal security architecture in the country, the Ministry of Police Affairs was re-established out of the former Ministry of Interior. The new ministry is, among others, to initiate, formulate, and implement policies and programs relating to policing and the internal security, as well as to provide supervision and administrative support to the Nigerian Police Force, the Police Academy, and the newly established Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Our vision is to reposition the Nigerian Police Force to be efficient, well-motivated, well-equipped, people-friendly, and improve its capacity to face modern-day security challenges. Of course, our mission is to formulate and implement policies and standards and practices, as well as maintain institutions for training, development, and growth of a professionalized Nigerian police force. Our mandate is to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians and help provide a conducive environment to guarantee peaceful coexistence among the citizenry and enabling environment for socio-economic development and sustainable livelihood. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that our activities and achievements will be measured against the mandates and the functions assigned to the ministry. Of course, our functions are, among others, to formulate, implement policies and programs that will ensure effective and efficient policing and internal security. We are also to provide technical assistance and administrative support for the Nigerian police force to ensure maximum service delivery. We are to initiate and implement projects and programs that will enhance the welfare of police and provide enabling environment for effective policing across the country. We are to monitor and evaluate the overall implementation of policies, programs, and the projects relating to policing and internal security in the country. We are sensitizing and engaging appropriate stakeholders to promote funding and investment on policing, as well as participation of the citizenry on policing and security. Next slide. To undertake all these functions, a number of agencies were established under the supervision of the ministry to assist in the execution of those functions. These agencies are the Nigerian Police Force, headed by our able Inspector General of Police, and off the record, my Minister of State, off the record. Of course, he is my Minister of State because he is second in command in the system. So, but it is off the record. I have no authority to do this. The Nigerian Police Force, the Police Academy, Udil, the Police Colleges and Formations, Nigeria Police Trust Fund. These agencies have specific roles to perform. The NPF is to create a secure environment for everyone living in Nigeria, including all of us here. The Police Academy is to train and develop a pool of high-level manpower for the Nigerian police force that will meet the modern-day challenges of policy in the country. Like you know, it has been designated at a university specifically to train policemen across the country. We have other police colleges that are charged with the responsibility of training and retraining of police personnel for effectiveness and responsiveness, and to sharpen their skills on policing in line with global standards and best practices. Nigerian Police Trust Fund is to mobilize the required funds for adequate implementation of police programs and projects and build a well-equipped and motivated Nigeria Police Force. From the targets and deliverables assigned to the ministry by the present administration, we are happy to report that the ministry has recorded several achievements within the short period under review. The highlights of some of the achievements include: 1, we have re-established functional departments in the ministry. When I came in, I met only the outgoing permanent secretary, whom I shared with the Ministry of Interior for some hours on that day. I also met only one director in charge of police affairs. So we had to sit down with the director and the new permanent secretary who came in 3 days after. We were able to see to the takeoff of the Ministry of Police Affairs with all the departments that were needed to enable us move ahead. We have, with the support of the NPF, been able to capture all the personnel of police, Nigerian police force, POLAC, and the police colleges and the IPPS. We supervise the recruitment, training, and deployment of 10,000 constables in the Nigerian police force who have already been posted to their local governments of origin, and they are there at the moment working in their various villages. We have taken the task of resuscitating the gigantic 470 million national public security communication system network that will generate thousands of well-paying jobs when it is fully implemented. In line with the Federal Government Executive Council conclusion, a concessionaire and baseline auditors were appointed to reassess and re-evaluate the project so as to prepare a new business case for consideration by the government. Well, on this project, and by the grace of God, we will make efforts to ensure that this project comes to realization by the grace of God. The ministry, through Nigerian police, continues to participate in peacekeeping operations under the United Nations and the African Union missions in several parts of the world, including South Sudan, Mali, Liberia, Somalia, etc. Nigerian police contingents in these missions successfully protected civilians, prevented and repelled violent attacks, quelled riots, protected IDP camps, etc., all to the satisfaction of the United Nations and the African Union, together with the host nations. We have acquired operational combat vehicles, which are commissioned by Mr. President, assisted by my humble self and the able Inspector General of Police. These are some of the pictures showing the arrival of Mr. President. You can see the vehicles that were procured. These are all the vehicles. You can see the headquarters with all the vehicles that we purchased. They say seeing is believing. And this is the police crime and incident database center that was also commissioned on that day. We have commissioned the state-of-the-art Nigerian Police Force National Command and Control Center on the same day and at the same venue here in Abuja. Lagos and the Lagos office was also ready for commissioning, while other places such as Kano, Port Harcourt, and other centers are almost underway. You can see Mr. President and my hands self here, unveiling the plaque to commission the various projects on that day. I think this is, this is the control center. We have, through the NPF, launched Operation PAP ADA, a very popular program which the IGP established, bringing personnel from tactical units, including the police mobile force. I had our image maker even yesterday talking about this program, and we're very proud of it because it is succeeding. Operation PAP ADA was put in place to curtail the menace of banditry in the northeast, and it is being extended to other geopolitical zones of the country. In POLAC University, as it is, we have been able to accredit various courses in Model. These courses include courses that you can see on the screen: English language, history, international studies. I'm reading them because the coordinator is here, who is in charge of academics from POLAC, so that if we have any mistake, he can correct us. Other courses that were accredited are Nigerian languages, linguistics, economics, psychology, computer science, and others. So we have been able to sort of fully accredit the various courses that we need in the college. And the ministries of the Police Academy within Kano. We have graduated and conducted the passing out ceremony of about 637 cadets on 12 December 2019 as Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASPs. The Pollock also admitted 1,295 undergraduates for the 2019-2020 academic session. They are currently in the process of admitting another set of students. I understand they have almost set a date for the examination for these candidates who have applied. Here you can see us with the IG, myself, and Mr. President, the Governor of Kano, with the students who have graduated in Kano on that day. This one is all part of the occasion. Mr. President was taking the salute. These are the students who are parading on the parade ground. As an organization, we have embarked on capacity building programs aimed at broadening the knowledge of officers in relation to their responsibilities in the society. And these programs include operational leadership command courses, tactical leadership command courses. Sorry, we have omitted the number of participants because we thought it is not very necessary. Strategic leadership command courses, training of police personnel on basic use of computer systems at Police College Information Technology at Abeokuta, was a view to making the police computer literally compliant. We have established committees for recruitment of special constables in all the local governments in Nigeria for implementation of presidential mandate of community policing initiative, which is already ongoing. We have organized workshops and training for northern officers on community policing, as well as conducted sensitization campaign on community policing and security summit in different geopolitical zones. Community policing implementation committees were inaugurated in all the states of the Federation and the FCT and in all the local governments across the country. Arrangements are ongoing to recruit or enlist constabularies in all the local government areas. I don't know, maybe some of them have even started maybe submitting their own list. I understand just this morning that the federal government has submitted or has earmarked some money, a huge sum of money for this program. I'm not sure whether the IG has had it. I understand it's 13 million. Yes. So the Ministry of the Nigerian Police has also advertised 10,000 vacancies for recruitment for the year 2021 in fulfillment of President Muhammad Buhari's approval for recruitment of 40,000 constables within the period of his second term. I think they are almost closing the portal, and I just received yesterday a communication that they are arranging the first screening exercise for those who have applied. On October 8, 2019, I inaugurated the 13-member Ministerial Interim Committee for the Police Trust Fund, which had as its chairman the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Nomandi Morris Berry. The 13-member committee had a specific term of reference to work out modalities for the establishment of the Police Trust Fund, which they diligently accomplished. You can see me here giving letter of appointment to the IGP as a member of the PTF, that is on the inauguration day of the PTF. So on February 12, 2020, I inaugurated the Interagency Committee on the review of the draft bill for the establishment of Nigerian Police Academy 2018, and another draft bill for repealing of the Police Act 2004 and enactment of the Police Act 2019. The report of the committee was submitted to the National Assembly for consideration. We have just received a copy of the bill that will be signed by Mr. President into law, and we are expected to submit our comments on the bill before it is finally signed into law by Mr. President. Welfare of staff of the ministry and its agencies have continued to be of paramount importance to us, since welfare, they say, is a motivation factor for efficiency. Provision of working tools and conducive working environment for effective service delivery cannot be compromised. We have promoted various categories of officers, police officers, including 28,190 sergeants, 690 corporals, 26,390 inspectors. Similarly, promotion exercises were also carried out in the officers' cadre within the period under review. The pension unit within the period under review paid group personnel, accident insurance, group life pension, and other insurance claims. About 2 weeks ago, we presented a 35-seater bus to the staff union of the ministry to ease their transportation needs. It is our intention to provide more buses to our staff before the end of this year, by the grace of God. You can see the permanent secretary and myself here during the commissioning ceremony of the 35-seater bus, which we handed over to the leadership of the main union in the ministry. We are glad to report that the IGP has effected the reorganization of Force Intelligence Bureau into a full department. We have expanded the zonal commands from 12 to 15 to 17 to meet the increasing administrative and security needs in the country. We have also created additional police mobile force squadrons and additional zonal investigation units for timely investigation of cases. Only last week, I represented Mr. President at the commission of the Police Mobile Force Training College in the Hills at Nasarawa State. The college has since commenced training of mobile police officers. This is the third of its kind in the country after the premier PMF Training College at Goza, Borno State, and the second one at Ila, Orogun, Osun State. The fourth one, which will be started in Sokoto State for the Northwest, is underway. It is our intention to have the MPF training schools in all the geopolitical zones to give effect to the renewed vigor and deepening operational capacity of the police to tackle all forms of violent crimes in the country. This is when myself, the governor of Nasarawa State, and the IGP were commissioning the MPF at the Hills. This was part of the ceremony. This is the main entrance of the college. This is part of the beautiful scenery in the school. It's a very vast area. In conclusion, in line with the unwavering determination of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR to address the myriads of the security challenges that have bedeviled the country over the years, the ministry is poised to do its best to work out strategies and contribute to the efforts towards positioning the Nigerian police force for the protection of lives and property and to ensure sustainable economic growth and development. Moving forward, a new internal security framework that will modernize the existing security architecture is being worked out to retune policing operations for optimal performance. I thank you very much for listening, and may God Almighty take us back to our respective destinations. Thank you very much.
Generally speaking, in the area of fighting crime, especially banditry, kidnapping, harassment conflicts, and communal conflicts, we've achieved a lot, bearing in mind that conflicts take time to evolve the factors that create conflicts. There are things that are being nurtured for a very long time, and then at the final stage it manifests itself in terms of either banditry or kidnapping or commission of crime. And if you want to deal with it, it will take time for you to be able to deal with it completely. If you look at the situation in the past, we used to have pipeline vandalization in the southern part of the country. But with time, the government has been able to overcome that. If you look at conflict that existed for a very long time in the southwest, if you take Modakeke conflict, it happened for a long time, but it took the government a significant period of time to overcome that. In the country today, in the northern part of the country, we have insurgency, which in the past, it used to be so effective to the extent that the terrorists, Boko Haram, will come to the cities and operate and go away. But now it is not the case. So with time, they have been degraded and they have been confined to a very small place within the Lake Chad region. And all efforts are being made to lodge them out. And now we are having challenges of banditry in the northwest, which is a manifestation of the heat that the terrorists are getting in the northeast. So some of them are moving to the northwest and linking up with some common criminals to wrestle cows, to attack people, and then the members of the community react. They react in such a way that they come also to attack the bandits. And in that situation, you have escalation of banditry. In the past, the epicenter has been Zamfara, where every day you hear killing of innocent citizens. But with concerted efforts from the police and other security agencies, Zamfara is now relatively calm. And if you move to Kaduna, Binongwari axis, for example, the situation used to be very bad. But with concerted efforts, we've been able to reduce to a significant level of the act of banditry. And in the southern part of Kaduna, you know, it is not only the herders wrestling cows, but we have the Islamic State of West African state that are operating there, who are terrorists, kidnapping. They kidnap for ransom. And we've been able to degrade them because we went to their camps, many of their camps, in Kurudu, in Walawa, in Giwa axis. We destroyed all the camps. And the activities is such that they are not able at will to come out and attack. In Katsina State, we've been having series of attacks in terms of these bandits running away from Zamfara because of the heat they were getting. They come to Katsina, and in the past they used to, you've had it, where they almost every week you see them attacking here and there. But now, we've been able to degrade them. You hardly hear of any attack. It may take 3 weeks, a month before you hear an attack. And then when we check the attack, we find out it's nothing but criminality, not an organized banditry to the extent that it used to happen. So we've achieved a lot in terms of bringing down criminality, in terms of banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of violent crime. You may ask, why are the criminals operating with arms and ammunition? We arrest them, we take the arms and ammunition, but they do get supply from outside, from our neighboring countries, because our borders are porous. And for that reason, Mr. President gave us a marching order to make sure that we block the borders. We check and prevent entry of arms and ammunition and bandits into the country. And for that reason, we've gone to Niger Republic, I led a team, we went to Niger Republic, we met with our counterparts there, and we have sat down, strategized, and identified where we need to block and do some joint operations to get these arms traffickers into the country arrested and prosecuted. So a lot is being done, a lot has been achieved, and as I said, when you are trying to cure sickness, it will take time for you to eliminate it. But we will eliminate all this banditry and kidnapping. Thank you.
Operational issues like this one, because he's in a better position to give account of what his men are doing. Of course, we are not supposed to open our mouths too wide because of the security implications of these things. And Mr. President is committed to ensuring security in this country, and has given them to flush these people out of this country. All the security agencies have resolved to go this way. I'm not sure if there is any question in the Masal ceremony. Any question? Well, we're already using technology in tracking some of these armed bandits and some of these kidnappers. We are using technology at the moment. But to answer your question directly, we have the plan, we have the intention to improve the technology that we are already using to assist in tracking these bandits, these kidnappers that are everywhere in this country. Technology is of paramount importance in fighting crimes. If you go to some countries, you don't even see policemen on the road because of the cameras and the CCTVs that are all there. So we are planning to have this things on ground. But at the moment, we are using what we have, and we are achieving a lot of results. I will allow the IGP to talk about community policing funds. He's interested in the funding. I raised this issue in my address, but IG will talk more about it. The issue of raised by Radio Nigeria, CCTV cameras in Abuja. I talked about this in my address. I said, when I came in, one of the first things we did was to set up a committee to look into the possibility of resuscitating this project. You are talking about the CCTV cameras in Abuja, isn't it? So we have done this, and the federal government, you know, Mr. President is fully committed to resuscitating ongoing or abandoned projects. This is one of the projects that we inherited. It was awarded in 2011, and up to this moment, it has not taken off fully. But to say that it has not been completed is not correct. The project has been completed. The only thing is that it has not been fully powered to operate. So what we are doing now is we are setting up a machinery in motion to get a concessionaire whom we have already gotten. We have also commissioned some auditors who are checking all the installations across the country. I understand they are about 80% on the way to completion, and as soon as they finish, we will prepare a kind of business case that is going to be sent back to the Federal Executive Council for consideration, so that we will sign an agreement with the concessionaire who will put in all the things that are missing, replace all the gadgets that are outdated, and then we will get the project to take off. So when this is done, these cameras will continue to work in Abuja, in Lagos, and in almost all the states of the Federation that we have these cameras. So this is where we are at the moment. Increase in salary of the police, I'll leave the two to the IG by Silverbird. Particularly the illegal weapons, they are getting many of them. So, Honorable IG, talk about the community policing and the increase in salary of police and the illegal weapons.
Thank you, sir. I want you to get my voice. It is not a new police structure that is being created, but within the police we strategize and then brought in community-based initiative to solve crime. So, the idea and what we are implementing is that the community should take responsibility of policing their communities at a certain level. And the implementation has gone far. So far, we have inaugurated State Community Policing Advisory Committee in all the states of the Federation. And that advisory committee comprise the traditional rulers. At the state level, you have the chairman of the traditional rulers or council, who is represented there. You have the representatives of faith-based organizations. You have representatives of women, market women. You have representatives of National Union of Transport Workers, representatives of teachers, students, youth, all in that advisory committee at the state level. I mean, at the local government, we have the same strategy, represented by this same group of community leaders. And at the local government level, again, you have community policing committee, which will be, again, traditional rulers that are coming from the wards and villages who form this committee. This committee are the ones to help us identify within the wards, the villages, and the towns, their own citizens, their own natives, who are able bodies that are known and they know the communities. We will select them, train them as community policing officers, and send them back to the communities where they come from. And what are they supposed to do? The community policing. So we have reached this stage already. Now we are at the stage of recruiting for training. Now, what will be the role of the committee, the advisory committee at the local government level and at the state level? The advisory committee at the local government level that comprise all these stakeholders will be the ones to be receiving report of challenges and problems of crime within the communities through the community policing officers. They will deliberate on these problems. Families that are identified to be committing crime, or individuals or foreigners that are coming to the community to be committing crimes, and then the members of the community that are also involved in commission of crime. The community policing officers will deal with that and bring it to the community policing advisory committee to see how they can solve the problem without necessarily bringing it to the DPO. Because it is a community-based initiative to deal with community crime issues. It is when the community policing committee advisory committee is not able to deal with the nature of crime brought to them. Maybe it's a felonious crime, then they have to escalate it to the level of the DPO. And then the community police advisory committee are to work with the local government chairman. For example, if in the community it is found out that drug is a problem, a lot of drugs are being consumed that lead to commission of other crimes. So that is a problem. then how do you solve the problem? It is the community that you see